this is the most important pillar. So the pillar of people is all about how do leaders and managers at all levels elevate, empower, inspire, and support people across their enterprise. Again, whether it's a team of 2 or a team of 20,000, it doesn't matter. How do we inspire people to exceed their perceived potential or their perceived expectations? How do we ensure that they know what you heard me mention earlier, why what they do is important and how what they do contributes to the goal? In my experience, the best teams that I have been on, people understand the intent, the task and purpose, as you talked about earlier. Why are we doing what we're doing? Once they understand the intent of the shared vision and where we're going, it's a beautiful thing to see, because then it doesn't become, well, this is Kristen's vision or this is Joe's vision. It becomes, this is our team's vision. This is where we are going. And there's no I in that. And there's a brief story that I want to share with you that there are so many amazing people that I've served with, both in the military and out. It is impossible for me to pick one and say, here's a story that articulates this for everyone on the call today. But I want to share this one story with you, an undisclosed location in Africa in 2016. I was in command of a task force that was responsible for collaborating with 14 African nations to improve their capability when it came to ordnance disposal. I think I mentioned earlier, or perhaps you mentioned, my career in the Navy was explosive ordnance disposal. That's the bomb squad. So we spent a lot of time not only learning how to render safe conventional and unconventional ordnance items, IEDs and the like, but also working with many of our partner nations and educating and training them to become more proficient in that craft. Through the early part of the 2000s and after 2010, this also included the ability to counter and defeat multiple terrorist networks that were operating at the same time. We did some training with one of these African countries, and there was a young service member who participated in the training and then went back to his country and went on to serve. A year later, there was a devastating terrorist attack, tragedy at a shopping mall in Kenya. And the headlines talked a lot about those who were unfortunately and tragically killed by this. What the headlines did not talk about was that this young service member was there, had his gear with him, remembered the training that our teams had given him, and saved estimated 250 lives. Now, I don't think it's possible to calculate what it means to save someone's life, but some years later, this young man came forward and said, hey, I would love nothing more than to emigrate to the United States so that I could join the US military and keep doing what it is that I was taught to do. To me, there's no value that one can place on that, but it talks to and it speaks to people and how people are the core of what we do. And leaders at all levels may never know the full extent to what they are imparting to people when they educate, when they train, when they develop them. And they may not be in a high risk, high threat, life-threatening situation like that. But there are all kinds of risks. And there are all kinds of situations that are crises and adversity that we face in life and in business. And that's what these pillars are about. And that's why, for me, people is the foundation of the foundational pillars. So thank you for the opportunity to share that.